right, shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel. And before we start this lesson, I want to give all honor, all praises, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. All right, double honor to our elder apostle Ruel. Salutations to the fellow Akim who labor under the apostle doctrine, and to the men, women, and children who sincerely believe. To you I say shalom. So, I'm just hop right into it. So this is the book of First Ezra, chapter 3, and verse 21, and it reads, "And it maketh every heart rich." So what is the topic? The topic is strong drink or wine. So wine is, or alcohol, is that back in the ancient world it was wine. Men drunk wine. To feel that buzz. To have that buzz effect when men wanted to drink. They would drink wine. Okay. But now, you have wine, you have alcohol, you have beers, you're right. So just wine and alcohol in general, right? It says it maketh every heart rich, meaning that when we drink wine or when we drink alcohol, it makes us content. We're satisfied, right? Because a rich person, they have more than what they ask for, material wise. They have more than what they ask for, and they able to just they lack nothing. Salakia, they lack nothing. So when we drink wine, or when a man drinks wine, right? When people drink wine or alcohol, what happens is they have everything they need. They content. They satisfied, right? So it says, "And it maketh every heart rich, so that a man remember neither king nor governor." Now, why would a person not want to remember their king or their governor, right? And the reason why a man, right, would not want to remember a king, right, which is a leader, his ruler, or nor his governor, which is another saying, his ruler, right? So why would a person want to remember that they're rulers, that they're being ruled over? Because the king and the governor is wicked, and they're oppressing the people. As the scriptures say here, I'm gonna pull up a quick scripture real quick. Salakia. It's the book of Proverbs 29:2. It says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn." And this is why, when it comes to us Israelites, you so-called Black, Latino, Native American people, we like to drink alcohol and wine to kind of decompress and decompress from the woes of society, because we are oppressed. Okay, so we're trying to forget that we're oppressed. We're trying to forget that we're in captivity. So, and that we're suffering while we're in captivity. We're serving out our captivity here in all the lands that we're scattered in, and also particularly in Babylon the Great, which is America. Okay, so what do our people do to try to forget that they're oppressed, that they're suffering? Is they turn to wine, they turn to alcohol. Okay, so this is why a person would want to drink wine, in this case, to forget that they're being oppressed, to forget that they're in captivity. And that's our people. We're turning to alcohol, we're turning to wine to forget the fact that we're oppressed and we're in captivity. Okay, and it says, "And it maketh to speak all things by talents." So that's when you loosen up. What that means is you just loosen up and you start running your mouth. Okay. Verse 22, it says, "And when they are in their cups, they forget their love." Right? The wine, talking about the wine, the alcohol in a sense, right? In this context, on my wine bottle, you can also refer to it as alcohol. When it's when that alcohol is in your hand in a cup, right? They forget they love both to friends and brethren, and little after they draw out their swords. So, that's a person who's tend to be prone to violence. You know, they have violent tendencies. So once they get that alcohol, that um that alcohol in a system, that wine in a system, and then they become drunk, what happens? They that person is gonna be more violent. The violent tendency is gonna come out more, and then a fight is gonna break out. Between friends, loved ones, whatever the case may be, because they they like to resolve their issues with their fists already. So now that they intoxicated, they're gonna really be in that mood to wanna fight and deal, with the hands. Okay, that's why it says after draw out their swords. Okay, but when they are from the wine, they remember not what they have done. Right. So what happens is, just like with alcohol and wine, right? Once you come down from being drunk and you become sober, what happens? You forget everything you've done, you know. But the purpose of why you was drinking in the first place was to forget your worries, to forget your problems that you were facing in society because you were oppressed, right? That's the reason why the context of the scripture, the man was drinking because he was oppressed, because he was subjected under evil kings, under evil governors and kings. So it's the same with our people, you know. That's synonymous to our people. Our people is that man, and we drink, we turn to alcohol, we turn to like I said before, we turn to alcohol, we turn to wine to try to forget, and even drugs, to try to get intoxicated and high, to try to forget the suffering and the oppression that our people is facing, you know. So that's another reason why we do that. Okay. Now, this a scripture came to mind. I want to go into the book of Salakia. Give me a second. Had to turn this radio off. I'm at work, as you can see. But let's get the book of Proverbs. Right? Proverbs. Let's see. Proverbs 31. Let's see if it's in Proverbs 31. It's not here. This is Proverbs. I'm going to start here. Get to the point. Salakia. Start 7. Salakia. Proverbs 31, 6 and 7. It says, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish. Okay? So that means a person who's ready to commit suicide or ready to take their life. Okay? And it says, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts, that's going through grief. That heavy hearts means grief, sorrows, and our people is in a state of mourning. Well, we're in a state of mourning as the hopeful elect, but in general, Jake is in a state of grief because, we're oppressed and we're suffering, So we're going to turn to alcohol to get that release, to get that relief from that comfort, that rest, while we're in captivity. Verse 7, it says, let him drink and forget his poverty. See, just how the man in 1 Esdras 3, he was drinking to forget his oppression, to forget the fact that he's in captivity. So in this context, it's saying let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. and that connects to just what we was reading, because that's the reason why the man was drinking in the first place. That's the reason why people turn to alcohol and wine in the first place, and drugs, to forget the poverty, to forget the misery and the sorrows while you're in captivity. You find comfort and rest in captivity, because they don't have the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of the scriptures, and they don't understand that it's the scriptures that's really the real rest. Salakia. It's the scriptures that's really the real rest, and what gives us comfort while we're in captivity. We're all in captivity as Jake. Whether you're, of the hopeful elect or the 2/3, we all serve in captivity. You know what I'm saying? In our respective lands, no matter where we are in the world, we all serve captivity. But it's just a fact of, see, Salakia, give me a second. But it's just a fact of one group, the 2/3, that don't know the scriptures, and that's why they don't have any hope, and they turn to drugs and alcohol for rest. And then the elect, the hopeful elect, who have the scriptures, we drink, when we going through griefs and sorrows, we drink. But we're not looking at that as a comfort. We're not looking for that as rest or hope, because we know our hope lies in the scriptures. We know our hope and our rest comes from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Our peace comes from there. So we're not looking at this alcohol as wine as, it's going to give me peace of mind. It's going to give me peace. It's going to give me happiness. It's going to help me to deal with living in captivity. No. It's the scriptures, It's the scriptures, okay? All right. As we take comfort, let me get this scripture here. Salakia, we're looking for it. Yep. Nah. Oh, here it is. This is First Maccabees 12:9. It says, therefore, we also, howbeit, we need none of these things. Right, so we enjoy alcohol, we enjoy wine, but we don't need it. Right, and it's going to explain why. That we have the holy books of scripture, that means the Bible, all right, in our hands to comfort us. So that's our comfort, that's our relief, that's our peace. We turn to the scriptures. We don't, when we're afraid, when we're going through sufferings and sorrows and misery, we don't turn to wine and alcohol. It helps, we drink, it does help, right? But that's not where our comfort comes from. Our comfort comes from going into these scriptures, reading these scriptures, okay? I just want to bring that out through the spirit. So now let's go back and let's go a little deeper. Let's read it again. First Esdras 3:21. It says, and it maketh every heart rich. That means they're happy, they're satisfied, right? Because a rich man lacks nothing. So that a man remembereth neither king nor governor. Okay? So this wine, in a deeper context, represents the way of life of America. This Western way of life. Because what happens is when people become westernized or they adopt this Western way of life, they forget the powers that be. You see what I'm saying? They forget who's ruling the earth. They unaware of who really pulls the strings. They think the president and the vice president and these politicians are the ones that's in control, Salakia. The ones that's in control, but they're not in control. Okay? It's the elites, the elites, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the elites. You know, I don't want to give too many names because they might flag me, but Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the elites, okay, who run the government, the society behind the scenes in secrecy. All right, so this is all set up. This society, this Western society, is all set up so that you don't know the powers that be, so that you never find out who Rothschild or who the Rockefellers are, because they get their power through secrecy. Okay, let's read it again. And it maketh every heart rich, so that a man remembereth neither king nor governor, and it maketh to speak all things by mouth. Right, so this Western way of life will make you forget the powers that be, you know, because you're so happy and content being here, because this place, it's pleasure, you know, it's pleasure central. Like, it's pleasure central. So this place, you know, have access to pleasure 24/7. So for that reason, you know, you so caught up in pleasure and pleasing your flesh, you know, you get to eat all type or anytime you want. You know, you could, you know, go out and do certain things whenever you want without any restrictions here. And for that reason, it's causing all pleasure, because you're pleasing your flesh, you're pleasing yourself, and as a result, you're forgetting the powers who be, powers who run, okay, that run this country and that run the world. And it says it maketh to speak all things by talents, right? So you just by talents, you know. So you just start, like I said, you just start talking, conversating, just running your mouth. Verse 22, it says, and when they are in their cups, they forget their love both to friends and brethren. You see? Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm still at work. It says, and when they are in their cups, they forget their love both to friends and brethren, and a little after drawing out swords. So, you know, this Western society, particularly America, it promotes violence, and it pushes violence, you know, and violence is loved here. You know, it's a dog eat dog world, you know, every man for himself, take. So when these values are being pushed to the people, to the American people, guess what happens? You know, they so quick and prone to violence, you know, because this Babylonian juice, you know, this prideful Western society, it teaches you about violence. You know, it teaches you about violence as a solution. You know, you be quick to violence. You know, if somebody, you know, it doesn't promote, or it doesn't encourage, you know, talking and dialogue and understanding and reasoning. It promotes violence. You know, it promotes and encourages violence. You know, just look at the movies. Look at what Hollywood produces. You know, the top selling grossing box offices are always some violent movie. It's just violence, you know. That's what's promoted. That's what's encouraged, and that's what's the values that's being pushed. Dog eat dog world. Every man for himself. Be cold-hearted. You know, be violent. You know. So how can you love your loved ones? How can you love your friends? How can you treat them the way they should be treated, as it says in Matthew 7:12? How can you respect them and do, you know, give them the due diligence? Yeah, give them the due diligence that they deserve. If you push with those values, and you hold on and you accept it and hold on to the values of violence, you know, and take. You know, that's the culture that we have here. Take. But it shouldn't be this way, but it is. Continuing on, it says, and a little after drawn out swords. Right. So it's no more dialogue. You know, that's why when two, you know, that's what you have. Like in America, you know, it's no reason, it's no talking, it's always violence. You know, instead of two men just because they on this Babylonian wine where it taught them to, be proud, and humility is weak, and being humble is weak, looked at as weakness, and reasoning is looked at as being coward, and dialoguing and understanding that looked at as being soft. But the man who can inflict the most violence, he's the real man. So it's these values and these ideas that makes one quick to, as soon as they get into a person who has a issue, a conflict, they want to just jump to violence. They want to use their fist to solve the issue. They want to argue and debate, because that's what's pushed here, violence. He who is the bloodiest is he who looked at as reverence and honor in this society, in America. It's just what it is. Verse 23, it says, but when they are from the wine, they remember not what they've done. So it's also too that hasty spirit. That's what's pushed here, because people are not taught. Like I said, it's not encouraged here to be patient. It's not encouraged here to take your time. It's not everything is quick, fast, instant. Do it now. It's not promoted. It's not talked about to think before you act. It's more of just do it now. Think about the consequences later. You see what I'm saying? And as a result, what happens? They forget. They don't remember what they've done. They don't remember the and this is talking about like if two men were to get into a physical altercation from too much alcohol in their system, from being drunk. But also, this is spirit more. This is also going deeper in the spirit, because it's dealing with how people are bugged out from this Western philosophy, so these Western values, to where if they have a conflict, instead of resolving it peacefully and reasonably like men, they want to fight it out and argue and act like wild animals. You know what I'm saying? And just turn to violence to resolve the issue. Because that's what's promoted here. He who is the bloodiest is the bigger man. He who's the bloodiest is the most honored and reverence in this society. And that's just what it is. That's the truth. All right. And in a real life situation, two men are arguing about something, and then they fighting, and then someone gets seriously hurt. Now that person, the person that walked away from the fight, he getting handcuffs thrown on him. He's going to jail. He's being charged with attempted murder, or that person is being charged with attempted murder, because a woman could do it too. He or she are being charged with attempted murder, because they took, instead of trying to reason and be patient and be more understanding to the situation, they escalated to violence. They just try to use their fist to solve everything. And then somebody got seriously hurt, and now they lost their freedom in the process. The person who walked away from that fight, now they lost their freedom. This is the world. This is the world we live in, and this is the values that's being pushed. Okay. It says, "O ye men, is not one the strongest that enforceth to do thus? And when he had so spoken, he held his peace." So I just wanted to use the wine, like actual wine and drinking, to how people drunk, the ways and the lifestyle of America, to culminate that, to say that just how people are they bug out. Sometimes you got men who bug out because of the liquor, because wine goes back to the word spirits. It's spirits in that wine, but it's spirits to bring joy and happiness. Well, some men they can't, they have a hasty spirit, so they can't contain themselves, and they lack self-control when they intoxicated, so then they're prone to be more violent. And it's the same way with the Americans. Americans are prone to be more violent. They're prone to be hasty in their spirit. They're prone to attack, because they don't know how to use their words. They don't know how to reason. They don't know how to understand and properly put a situation in its proper place. So I just want to give that quick point, and I ended off with this. Jeremiah 51. Lord, winning this is an edifying lesson coming to you straight by the power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. See 51. Yeah. Salakia, give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. Okay, that's about it. But couldn't find it. But Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. And with that, we give all honor, all praises, all glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushua, B'Hashem Kokadash. Shalom. You know, to the fellow Akim who labor under the apostle doctrine, to the men, women, and children who sincerely believes, you I say shalom. Until next time, shalom.